welcome to More on the Road with Bernard Moore, the third presented to you by More and More Sports Management. Nothing but more is what we're all about. Like I stated before, More on the Road, we can go anywhere that we please, that the individuals, they welcome us to their facility, their restaurants and stuff. So now I know that we've been at a lot of restaurants lately, so I told you now we're going to try to get to a gym somewhere because we're eating all this different food. So I am at a gym today, so kudos to me. Yes, I did have my morning workout and stuff. I am here live at the MBA, the Mississippi Basketball and Athletics, on 2240 Westbrook Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Here talking, about to go to speak with the legendary. Now, I know some people know when they hear legendary, coaches that went through trials and tribulations, but when they get that title legendary, you think that they're always winners. They won that soon they pick up the whistle, the clipboard, you think that they're winning. No, legendary coaches got to go through some trials and tribulations, get their butt whooped, get beat upside the head, and then they get back at it again. But joining me today is the legendary coach, Coach Wayne Brent. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm doing good. How you doing today?
I'm good. Coach, like I said, you amongst the towers, Mount Rushmore of coaches here in Jackson. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them now. But no, on Mount Rushmore, they only have four faces. So we're going to have to build a Mount Rushmore times two.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of good coaches have come through Jackson.
All right.
Again, we're talking with Coach Wayne Brent. Coach, how does it feel to be on Mount Rushmore?
I never really consider myself that. I just consider myself as a guy that get up early every morning and stay late. A guy that at the end of the day, when my time on earth is done, they're going to say that guy really gave everything he had to all the kids that he touched. So I never really looked at it like that.
But like I said, being on Mount Rushmore with a lot of coaches now, who are some of the great coaches that you can remember doing as when you were coaching as well as while you were playing here in Jackson?
If I think back, I think Osmond Jordan was one of the first coaches that come to mind. He was over at Morrow High School. Grady Dawson, that was over at Provine High School, which I played for him back in the 80s. Charles Bingham, that coached over at Jim Hill High School. He was in the early 80s. Hard-nosed coach over at Jim Hill. And then once I got to be a coach, the two guys that come to mind would be Luther Riley, who preceded me at Provine, and then Thomas Phillips, who was over at Lanier High School.
Now, all those names, they won a number of championships. You can't say they just only won one. They won a number of championships, right, including yourself. With that type of coaching tree coming through Jackson, what is it about Jackson that have, like I said, whenever you played, because I graduated in 90, I attended Forest Hill. So whenever you came to Jackson to play basketball, you had to come and play. Right. It wasn't no say, hey, we're going to Jackson, we're going to take it easy. From Baylor to Provine to Lanier, Jim Hill, Callaway, all 8 high schools, you had to come and play. Right. What was it about coming to play in Jackson?
I think the thing with Jackson back then, this was our way out. We didn't have another way to get out of the situation we were in. When you walk down the halls at 2400 Robinson Road, you knew that in order for you to get out of this, you got to use athletics, you got to use sports in order to get out. And I think the same thing happened when Coach Billups got the job at Lanier, when Coach Riley took over at Provine. It just was a situation we were dealing with kids that, hey man, this it, this our way out. We don't have another option. We don't have another job that we have to go to. We play basketball, we play sports, we play football, we run track. This has to work for us in order for us to get out of the situation that we're in. And that's the way we looked at it every day.
Now, I know basketball has opened doors for a lot of individuals that come through Jackson. I don't want to go down that list because we'll be forever about the guys that came through Jackson, even just for the ones that you coach. The late Justin Reed, the late Aaron Harper, David Sanders, Otis Gain, Tommy Kelly, Kamar Ballard. So the list can go on and on and on. And now the current coach at Jim Hill, he came through Provine. Right. So we just talking about 2400 right now.
Right.
What was it that kept them, like I said, they got the Provine posse. What was it that kept them the Provine posse?
I think the thing with us, we had two things. We had kids that were really, really special. They had a talent, they had a gift. God had given them a gift or given them a talent. And then we had really, really good coaches. We had Coach Dawson that was there before I got there. And then you quite naturally had myself who came for 6 years. And then you had Coach Riley who came behind me. So you had three of the top coaches around the area that was working in a school system that breeded athletes. So you had those two things, and when you mix those two things, those are ingredients for a very good cake.
Now, with that, I said you had the 8 high schools. Now we're down to 6. You had the community coming out of White Rock.
Uh-huh.
You had the community come out of West Side.
Right.
You had the community come out of the Air Base, which is Champion Gym.
Right.
You had the community come out of the addition over the near Jim Hill. God, what's that gym name? Shepherd.
Yeah.
And you had those different gyms producing athletes because when you step on that court, you had to play.
Right.
And then you go to the parks, you had Lake Hico, then you had Battlefield Park, then you had Sykes Park. So when you step on the court, you had to play. Do you think that made the schools better because they would compete against older guys that laid the foundation and then playing against guys from different neighborhoods to try to outdo one another? Do you think that made the competition better or just a bunch of bragging rights?
Man, it definitely made it better. If you came to Proline High School on a Sunday afternoon, you would walk in the gym and you got Ryan Lockett, you got Lindsey Hunter, you got Gerard Ward, you got Maurice Carter, you got Randy Bowden, and the list went on. James Hollywood Robinson. We had got to the point where even Lindsey brought Adam Houston in there. And the thing with being in there on Sunday, if you lost, it took you 5 or 6 games to get back on the court. It was just like a who's who of basketball. I think, like you said, they left Provine and went to Jackson State, went to the Air Base, and it just kept going on and on and on. And think about back then, you didn't have all this social media, you didn't have all these other distractions. It was just a boy, a gym, and a basketball, and that was it.
Now, with all those different gyms, like I said, you're right. If you didn't win, you was going to be a while on the court. Now, looking here at the NBA, it has multiple courts.
Okay.
Now, do you think a gym like this would have definitely benefit a lot of guys coming up back in the day? Because I know this facility, it was here, but it was more on a private side.
Right.
You had to be a membership to enter into it.
Right.
Now, if this gym was available during those times, like in the 80s and the 90s, when you had all those guys, this place would have been packed.
The thing about this, if we had had this back in the day, it would have been a chance for everybody to come to one place, and then you wouldn't have had to play one game. You could have played 3 or 4 games at one time. And then that way nobody would have to wait because you're sitting there and all right, go back.
You had to sit there and wait.
You had to sit there and wait because you had to figure out how do I get back on the court. In a situation like this, you got 5 games, just like we're sitting here right now. You got 20 guys in here playing at the same time. You got somebody on court 1 that's playing against each other. You got somebody on court 2 that's playing against each other. And the talent level, you got 20 Division I guys that are on the floor playing right now. When myself and Omar was here, we had an AAU team that had, I'm gonna say we had 2 AAU teams that each AAU team had 10 plus Division I kids on the same AAU team. When I look at this thing right now, they talk about the talent down, this, that. We got to go play with Team Thad. We got to go play with Live On. That was not heard of. We got to go to a prep school. Provine was your prep school. Lanier was your prep school. Merle was your prep school. Othello, Ronnie Henderson, and Jesse Pate all played on the same team. Tang Hamilton, Shannon Long, T.J. Miller all played on the same team. Justin Reed, Aaron Harper, Marcus Terrell, David Sanders, and Tommy Kelly all played on the same team. So that was your prep school.
Now, with that, I know that there is some red tape around this. You have some schools saying why this team is stacked with a bunch of all-star players. this team has very little, and some people get into the mindset of there's some illegal act things going on. But they all grew up right around the corner.
Right.
They grew up down the street and they just played together. Now, in reference to that, you have some small town schools, not trying to knock on doing like Hazelhurst, like
Right.
Clinton, like Brandon and Pearl. They have their schools are all together.
Right.
And sometimes what they learn in middle school or elementary or Pee Wee League, they carry on to middle school. Then what they learn in middle school, it carries on to high school. And so they develop good talent. But with Jackson, you had, like I said, you had 8 high schools.
Right.
You had 13 to 14 middle schools, so the talent was kind of spread out. But now with they condensing down to 6,
Right.
how do you think the basketball talent is going to be now in
Well,
Jackson?
it depends on the culture. The whole thing boils down to this. We talk about back in the day and we talk about being illegal. The illegal thing was somebody was called lazy. It's a disease called lazy. And so when I walked in the gym, and I was in the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning to 10, 11 o'clock at night, a kid coming through there that's playing pickup, that's what he's looking for. So if you don't call it recruiting or call it illegal, you call it your ability to work really hard, stay in the gym, be in the gym all day, and at the end of the day, when a kid has no out, when that's his only out is to be in the gym, that's the thing that the parent is looking for, because at the end of the day, the kid is looking, or the kid or the parent is looking for somewhere where we can get a college scholarship where we don't have to pay to go to school, because not only do we have to pay, but we can't pay. So when you have a situation like that, it's called, I'm gonna put my child in the best situation in order for him to get the most out of his talent, and for him not to be able to pay to go to college because we don't have it.
Now, with that, how has basketball made a difference in your life?
You know, my life with basketball is there is no other way. There is no such thing as a job for Coach Brent. There is no job that they have over there, and they say, okay, he gonna go over there and he gonna work as a doctor, he gonna work as a lawyer. That wasn't an option for me. The only option for me was a basketball. And I knew that was my option, and I knew that in order for me to be successful at this, I got to be the first one in the gym, I got to be the last one to leave, and I got to do this every single day of my life. I got to do this 365 plus days, not 365 days. I got to do it 365 plus days every year, and that's what I did.
Now, with that, some people say that the hard workers always be successful. Now, at the beginning of your coaching career, I know you spoke at a commencement at an event in which I attended, and what you stated about how you got started.
Yeah.
How was it when you first started coaching? When you got that phone call and said, "Hey, we want you to come coach over at 2400." I know you were excited and nervous all at the same time, because you walked those halls, you built those bricks when you were a student athlete.
Right.
How did you feel when you got that call and then you knew what you had in front of you?
You know, when I got the call that I was going to be given the opportunity to coach at Pullman High School, it never dawned on me how bad the team was. The only thing I knew was how excited I was just to be coaching at Pullman High School. You know, I tell people a lot of times, the thing that we did that was illegal, we practiced 4 times a day. That was the part that was illegal that we were doing. We were weeding out the guys who really didn't want to put in the work to be there. And the rest of it just fell in place. You talking about a team that when I first walked in there, I didn't know that we were bad. I knew we were bad, but I didn't know we were bad just because I wanted the job so bad. And I could see down the road, I could see over there. I could see that, man, you give me 2 years with this, I'm going to turn this into the same thing that Coach Billups is doing over at Lanier. I'm going to turn this into the same thing that Osmond Jordan is doing over at Merle. I could see it, but other people couldn't see it. So I didn't look at the job as being a bad job. I looked at the job as being a great opportunity.
Yeah. Again, dude, looking at viewing, you're doing something to more on the road with Bernard Moore, the third presented by more sports management. I definitely want to give thanks to individuals that help me with the show. Again, more sports management. If you'd like to learn more, log on to our website, mms-management.com, as well as Talking Sports Live with Rob J, Jamie Horton, Larry Nix, Ed Bishop, and myself. Join us every Wednesday from 6 to 7 at Full Moon Barbecue, 1935 Main Street in Madison, Mississippi. And again, want to thank Full Moon for being a part of the show also, 1935 Main Street. Again, when you call Full Moon, call that catering number, 466-7713, and order some banana pudding, because I definitely would like that banana pudding. So definitely get your order. I'll throw you an extra cookie there when you call and order banana pudding. And also new to join us as well as Hillcrest Christian School, 4060 South Sourwood Road in Jackson, Mississippi. A small learning environment. Can definitely get one-on-one with it. 601-372-0149 is the address. It's the phone number. Look them up at hillcrestchristian.org. It's a good small Christian environment school where you definitely learn Christ-like and bond and all fellowship over a small environment. Again, we're here at the MBA 2240 Westbrook Road in Jackson, Mississippi. And I know you hear all the excitement basketball going on. So again, we're still talking with legendary Coach Wayne Brent. Coach Brent, now, when you were coaching, even though I know you probably beat them and they beat you sometime, who was that fly that got on your nerves sometime when you played against them? You know when you go out somewhere, you got that fly that get on your nerves, you constant. Who was that fly when you were coaching in high school?
I had two, and like everybody knows it. It's not like it's something that's a big mystery, but I take that three. When I first started, Coach Jordan was at Morrow, and I had gone to the games because I had gone to school, and I would come back and they had those fellows and the runners, and when I first got the job, it was Morrow, and they beat us really bad. The other two was Coach Billard. Coach Billard was there at the same time that Coach Jordan was there, so the two of them were at Morrow and at Lanier when I first got the job. Coach Riley came on later after I went to Ole Miss. He became the coach at Program. He took my place, and then once I left Ole Miss and came back, Coach Riley had the program job, so I ended up going over to Pioneerwood and Callaway. But those were the three guys that I had a bullseye. I had something in my mind that, okay, these are the three guys that really make me have to stay on the top of my game, because they are the three that you consider to be, okay, and you don't have to play all three of my state championship coaches, and they were what everybody wanted to see. They were must see.
Now, with the different districts and stuff, though, from I know they expanded to 7A down from 5A. I think you are majority of the school were at 5A.
Okay.
During your time here. What was it like playing against the competition outside of Jackson? Was he saying like, well, every time I play against a Jackson school or JPS school, one of my counter schools, I really had to play. But when I'm outside of Jackson, it was a little, not saying a cakewalk, but you had to approach them differently.
The thing with us is that JPS was so tough. You had the 7 or 8 schools, and all 7 or 8 were really, really good. You had to play every single night. I think the thing that when you have a team like the Morrow team or the Lanier team or the Provine team, those teams, everybody wanted to play them. All of your promoters, they came up with these little classics. And so what they would do, they would schedule you or they would match you up with somebody who was really, really good outside of JPS. So we didn't play a lot of teams outside of JPS that couldn't play because we were really good and we were ranked in the top 4 or 5 teams in the state. We always played other teams that were really good. Like Canton was really good when I was at Program. Yazoo City was really good. Brookhaven was good. Gulfport was good. Biloxi was good. So they would always schedule us with somebody who was really good, somebody who had a dandy dozen, somebody that everybody wanted to see. And my schedule would be like that every year. So we may go into a state championship run, and we may have gone through 7 or 8 losses. But we probably played one of the toughest schedules in the state. But it always helped us once we got to the Coliseum.
Now, with that, now, how does that, especially I know sometimes you guys travel outside the state of Mississippi to play, and they say with basketball, the competition outside the state is a lot tougher. It's different compared to here. I said, well, no, I'll take any player from Jackson or Mississippi and play against anybody. How was the competition, and how was you all received when you were at Callaway as well as Provine going outside the state?
You know what? Outside the state for us, when I was at Callaway and Provine, it was the same. I mean, because like I said, we considered ourselves a prep school. We didn't consider ourselves a regular high school. I can remember a team. I was looking at a picture of one of my Provine teams. We had 10 guys who played Division I on one basketball team. 10 that played on one basketball team. So we didn't shy away from anybody, whether it was out of state, whether it was in state. We look forward to playing against other teams that had good players, because that's what our guys want. Justin Reed wanted to play against the best. David Sanders wanted to play against the best. Aaron Harper and Tommy Kelly, they all wanted to play against the best. And you know, back then, Coach Willis had a Nike contract. I had a Reebok and Adidas contract. We used to go to the ABCD camp, or Bill used to take kids to the Nike camp. So we played against the top players in the country. It was nothing for us to go to camp and LeBron James there, James Harden there, Kobe Bryant is there. I saw that the entire summer, so we knew that, you know, anytime we went out of state to play, our guys were not afraid to play any team.
Now, with that, who? Now, I know you're probably gonna get some phone calls and stuff when I ask the question. Who was that player that you really enjoyed watching play?
In Mississippi, in JPS, just
in JPS.
In JPS, who would I?
I said, even if you had to coach against them, now who is that player that you just like, man, I just like watching this player play?
Well, there's a couple of guys come to mind. Guys that I had to coach against probably would be, I'm gonna say Monte Ellis and Jesse Pate. They were special because they could do a little bit of everything. They had that good size, and they both could play on both ends, and they could do a lot on the floor. They were hard to game plan for. If I would say people that I had to go watch play that didn't play for me, that I had to go watch play, I'm gonna say Chris Jackson, James Robinson. Those would be two of the guys that come to mind. If I had to say must see, you got to get to the game early. They gonna really put on the show. You got to really be there. And it didn't make a difference what game it was. They were gonna show up every game. It would be Chris Jackson and Johnny Robinson.
Now I know, like I said, you're a product of JPS. The holiday term, cause that's what I love to see, because you got teams coming throughout the state to come in, and typically it's going to be end up playing a JPS school playing for the championship. Not saying that it's by because it's a JPS tournament, but it was just the talent that was there. Because I remember at Forest Hill when I was there, it was standing room only in the championship game. And like I said, if you didn't get there in time, regardless of whoever was playing, and normally I think when I was in school, it was always going to be end up probably being on the boys' side, Lanier and Provine, and on the girls' side, Murrah and some other school.
Right.
What was some of your memories of the JPS Holiday Tournament?
You know, we knew as a team that the JPS Holiday Tournament was tougher to win than a state championship, for the simple fact that in a state championship, you were sectioned off in 4A, 5A, 3A, or whatever. In the JPS Christmas tournament, it was 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, or it could be a team from out of state. So there was no classification in your so-called JPS Christmas tournament. So we knew that the JPS tournament was a lot tougher than winning a state championship. And it was a 4 or 5-day event, and it was back to back to back to back, and you had to be prepared to win 5 games in 5 days, or 5 games in 4 days, because a lot of times you play the semifinals and the championship on the same day.
Yeah. Now let's transition over to women's basketball.
Okay.
You seen, like I said, you had the opportunity when you were coaching to see the Murrah. You had the opportunity to see the Jim Hill, the Lady Tigers.
Right.
who else? Even the Lady Red, because they have some outstanding team under coach. Coach, is it Harstog?
Harzog,
yeah. She has some good team. And now today, you see what Callaway is doing. You see what the Lady Bulldogs are doing over there.
Right.
What's your thought about on women's basketball today? Has it changed, or you saying it's getting more excited, or you see growth in it?
You know what? When you look back to teams that were coached by Anna Jackson, those were teams that were really, really, really special. When you talk about going to a game and they had a good girls team, a good boys team, the games will be packed for the girls game. And Coach Jackson, I don't know how many state championships she won, but I know it seemed like every year she was there, and every year she had a good team. But the thing that stood out to me about Coach Jackson's teams is I looked at her perception when they walked into the building. When they walked into a JPS tournament, everybody was dressed up, had looked like they were going to a business meeting. So I remember that just as much as I do how well they played on the floor. I remember how her young ladies carried themselves off the court, coming into the building, how they were dressed, and the business approach they came into every game.
Now, with that, I know everybody said that basketball games are won on the court. Mm-hmm. I say it's more won off the court because, so like I said, the way that they carry themselves on and off the court.
Right.
Because what you do off the court should transition on the court, and what you do on the court should transition off the court.
Right.
Now, do you see that philosophy as a good way that you should always have hard work in all that you do, especially as a student athlete?
You know what? I always think you look for the edge. And we had this deal where we wouldn't ride the bus with the girls. And we would let the girls ride the bus, go to the game, and then we would let the bus come back and pick us up. And what we were trying to do, we were trying to send a message that we're going to walk in the gym, we're going to be dressed different, we're not going to say anything to anybody. So like you say, we were trying to establish our territory before we even hit the court with, they got a different mindset. They coming in the gym, they come in here, they walk straight to the dressing room, they don't talk to anybody, they about their business. You can tell the way they dress, you can tell the way they look, you can tell that mindset that they got. And like I say, a lot of games were won even before we hit the court, just because of that mindset to how we came to a game and we didn't play with anybody. I hated to ride the bus with the girls, get there before the girls' game started, sit there, and everybody in the gym coming talking to your guys, distracting your guys. We getting ready for war. We getting ready for a heavyweight fight. The regular person is in there for playtime. We're not in there for playtime. So I didn't want to put my guys in that environment a whole hour before the game where I got to sit there and talk to Lil Johnny, and Lil Johnny doesn't have a game. I want to come right in there, go to the dressing room, put your stuff on, go to the floor, and we getting ready for a battle, because we knew when you got ready to play Coach Gillard, you better be ready for a fight. When you got ready to play Coach Riley, you get ready for war. And that's the mindset we were taking to each game.
Okay, so now I'm having a flashback about when you all come into the gym. You have your red warm-up suits on. Some guys have the headsets on. They got their bags, and they go straight to the locker room. I know you probably say one thing. Look at the home coach and say, "Hey, where our dressing room at?" And y'all going straight there and sit down. And so that's I'm visioning that, having flashback of that, because I even remember Coach Billings coming up with the maroon and white with them Jordans on, and they going straight to the locker room. But I definitely get the point out so that you guys won't get distracted, because I said that's a business trip.
Right.
You there to take care of business. How do you feel now as you look back, some of the guys that you coached? They're coaching now.
You know what? It makes you feel like you did your job, and especially in my situation. And I don't know the exact number, but if I had just think off the top of my head, I may have 30 guys that played for me that are coaching either in the state in high school, middle school, junior college, Division I, Division II, NAIA, or even in another state. I may have 30 plus guys that played for me or coached under me that are actually coaches. And that means if you got that means that those guys were paying attention to detail when you were coaching them, and that means you did a great job leading them and being impactful into to forming them and molding them into what they are right now.
All right. Well, now let's take a trip around the corner from 2,400 over to 1,400.
Okay.
You won championship at 2,400. You won championship at 601, and you took that same momentum over to 1,400.
Okay.
Now, like I said, you're dealing with different breed of athletes now.
Mm-hmm.
How was it, once you transitioned from high school to college? Even though I know you've already used an assistant in college, but transitioned from high school to a head coaching job in college.
So everything was easy to me concerning basketball. I never had a hard job. Every job I had was easy. The only opponent, it's crazy, the only opponent that I ever lost to was the University of Injury. That's it. That's the only opponent I ever lost to. And when I hit Jackson State, I had never coached in my life where a guy got injured. In a 35-year career, I had never coached an injured player. When I got to Jackson State, not only did I have an injured player, I had 4 injured at the same time, 5 injured at the same time. And an injury, I'm talking about, he got an ankle sprain, he gonna miss the game, and then he gonna be back for the next game. No, I had a situation where he gonna miss the first game, and then he gonna miss the rest of the year. So now you dealing with something like, man, you gotta play with 4 walk-ons. Is it humanly possible to go out there and win with 4 walk-ons? It's impossible. When I look back at my career, that's the only opponent that when I walked in the gym that I couldn't defeat. That was the only opponent that I couldn't defeat.
Now, what I know, not trying to tell everybody the age though, when you were coming up playing, you got to scratch your knee or you hurt something, you sat down for a few minutes and you back at it again.
Right.
Now they get injured, some get injured, they want to sit out for the title and be babyfied.
Right.
Do you think it's something like I said, is it something in the water a little different? Because I know we used to drink out the water hose out somebody's front yard, and now they got to have a tumbler or a bottle of water.
Right.
Do you think what is different compared to, not saying the house, you were coming up playing sports and you got hurt, you shook it off and you played, compared to how some of them are now?
I think every kid different. I'm the type, me personally, I've never been injured, I've never been cut on, I've never been to the doctor's office to get a cast. Why? I don't know. And every kid is different. And then I coach a kid who we can't get him on the floor. Every time he practice, he get hurt. And I don't know why, what's the makeup, I don't know what it is. You can say it's something in the water, you can say it's something in the food. I guess it's like old people, You look back to your mom and dad, and they grew up on the farm, and they grew all their food, and they went out and they got peas out of the garden, and they ate chicken from in the yard, and now they taking a chicken now, and a chicken is being born, and in 2 days he grown. So something is wrong with the food. And like you said, we used to drink water out of a hose pipe. We had a situation where your mom, you do not bring them in my house. They gotta get that water out that hose pipe. You tell a kid to get water out the hose pipe, now he looking at you like you crazy. So I don't know what the hell it is.
Now, I know since you have, not saying completely hung up the whistle, but you have hung up your whistle from coaching at a particular institution.
Right.
You're doing more working out players now. How is that? How is that different compared to, I said, hey, I'm not coaching doing X's and O's and drawing up plays and stuff. I'm working on basic fundamentals of playing basketball. How has that transition been for you?
The transition, the only thing different is that I don't game plan now. I used to be with the guys, be with the coaches, come up with a game plan, and then we were working to go fight in a war. So I don't get that now. You got 15 guys, you got your 3 or 4 coaches, you got your administration, whoever, you got your trainers or whatever. You got them 20 people that you are getting ready and you're going out to play against another team. That's probably the only part that I miss because I don't get to compete on that level. But the other part, do I be in the gym every day? Yes, I be in the gym every day. Do I work a guy out every day? I work a guy out every day. Do I go to a game? I go to a game every single day Probably the only day I don't go to a game is on Sunday just because they don't have them. But Monday through Saturday, I'm going to be at somebody's game every day looking at somebody that I'm either training or I'm getting ready to train or just trying to see how can I get that kid to improve. Or it may be a coach who call and say, Coach, just come by, look at my team, critique them, tell me what you think. So, I get a lot of that.
Now, with that, I know you stated you missed the game plan part, but do you really miss the part of dealing with, especially either in between 10 to 15 different personalities and trying to get them to work together to win the war or battle? Do you miss that part?
I miss it every day. you talking about a guy who the only thing he has ever done was coach basketball. So when somebody asks me, do I miss it? Do I want to go back and coach? Probably not. Because this is the only reason why I say, when people ask me about coaching, they say, man, you're 57, you can coach. Yes, I can. The only problem I got, if I take a job, I'm the type of person that I'm going to be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to work that job all day long and I'm going to go home at 12. The question I have to ask myself, can my body take that at 57? That's the only drawback I have because I don't know how to stop. Once you give me a commitment and an assignment, I'll die on the floor. And when people say they'll die on the floor, they don't really mean they'll die on the floor. When I say I'll die on the floor, I would literally die out there on the floor. I'll kill myself. That's my mindset. Once I take a commitment, once I say I'm going to do it, there's no stop for me. I'll run until my body can't go. And at 57, I don't know if I want to try that again. I don't know if that's what I want to put on my body. That's the only drawback that I have. Yeah. But can I coach? Yeah, I can go coach.
Now, I know you're looking at like some of the legendary coaches. Now, some people looking at Nick Saban, some of the great coaches, Joe Paterno. Now, Coach K just retired from Duke a few years ago. God, what's the other coach at UConn? Coach, the girls, the female coach at UConn. Gino.
Yeah.
Vivian at well, now she's still at Rutgers.
I'm not sure if she's still at that now.
I think, and then the Coach Mulkey down at LSU. Yeah. They're looking at them though, looking at the age-wise. Some of them still energetic, but like I said, you don't know what they're doing outside the court. They may be not saying I don't know. They may be taking some pills, some vitamins, something to really keep them energetic. And some coaches just doing it just as they say, stay young. When some coaches step away from the game completely, do you see a difference in their mindset, or do you see like, man, I'm lost, I don't know what to do? Even like some professional athletes that been in the game so long, they retire and it's like, I'm lost, I don't know what to do.
Right. You see that because a lot of coaches stay in the game because they don't want to go home. Because they know if they go home, they're not used to that. They're used to 20 hours, 18, 19, 20 hours a day. And then when you go home and you don't have anything to do and you're looking at 4 walls and the walls looking back at you and you don't have anybody that's boring. It's like my life right now, I'm never at home. I don't know anybody at 57 that's in better shape than me because I'm working out. I work myself out in the morning. I'm on the floor. I might work out 5, 6 guys in a row. So I'm constantly moving. If I had to go home and sit at home and look at the wall, yes, I would take another job. But I don't go home and sit at the wall. I'm talking to a teacher's group, administrative group, talking to them about motivation, talking to them about teamwork. I'm at some JUCO, Division I, high school or middle school, talking to their kids. I'm doing something every day. So what I do keeps me active and keeps me in the game, but it's not stressful on my body like actually being where you got to be responsible and you got to win. When you got to win, that can get stressful. That can cause you, some stress problems.
I remember, I think it was at Tougaloo doing a coach's clinic, and you and a couple of the guys, they were having a shootout, and you told me, I do this for a living. I was like, well, Coach probably sit out there hooping or something. Now, I know this generation of athletes, sometimes they look at you're an old man, now you can't do it. do you ever have to face that challenge sometimes? Say, I'll shoot you out the gym.
I do it every day.
Oh.
And the thing with me is more I can outlast you. They can jump high, they can run faster, they can dribble quicker down the court. But the thing that I got on them, I can do it for 24 straight hours. They can't do it but 15 minutes. So what I do is I say, okay, if you want to do this, what I'm doing, let's stay in here the whole day and let's see who leaves first. But see, if we break it down and we say, okay, we're going to do this for 15 minutes, he going to beat me every time. I bring him out there in that deep water, and I bring him out there with me where I know he ain't got no life vest on. And then I say, okay, come out here and do this for 24 hours today. And let's see who'll be the first one to leave and go home. He can't stay in there 24 hours.
Now, I'm not saying all of them are like this, but I know that there's some few. You have a very minority group,
Okay.
at this generation that will stay in the gym forever. But then you have majority. I'm gonna work out in the gym about 3 or 4 hours, then I'm gonna go do something else. What's the difference between the minority and the majority, then and transition onto the court?
When we say minority and majority, we got one or two that really, really love the game, and then we got the rest of them. And what I mean by staying in the gym is I'm gonna work out from 5 to 6. Then I'm gonna go eat, do whatever I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come back and play pickup. The problem what they don't really love is when they finish playing pickup, I'm gonna go by and watch another team practice. I'm gonna go watch film. So my whole day gonna be geared toward basketball or how can I get better. No, I'm not gonna stay in the gym and work out 24 hours, but I'm gonna stay around basketball doing something for 24 hours. My whole day gonna be involved around basketball. They can't do that part. And there's only one or two people that can actually do that all day long. They can put social media to the side. They can put that girl to the side. Or they can bring that girl with them and say, hey, if you're gonna be with me, you gotta go here. They can't do it. I can do it. They can't do it.
Again, this is More on the Road with Bernard Moore III, presented to you by More and More Sports Management. We're here live at the NBA 2240 Westbrook Road in Jackson, Mississippi. I know that you hear all the excitement. The guys are here playing basketball, having fun, just here hooping. Like I said, we would prefer to see these individuals in the gym hooping. You know, I know you may have some disagreement, but it's good to see them out here competing against each other and making each other better. Again, we're talking with Coach Wayne Brent, the legendary Coach Wayne Brent. Now, I said he spent his entire day in the gym or involved in sport. If you weren't working in basketball, Coach, what would you be doing?
If I was not working in basketball, I would be in Gordon Memorial Funeral Home. There's no such thing as Coach Brent not gonna be working in basketball. When I lose the desire to come in this gym, then it's time for me to call it a day. And when I call it a day, that means my life is over.
So you ready to go out there to the pearly courts with Coach Jordan and some of the legendary coaches that had set the foundation. Like I said, you coached against him, and like I said, he beat your butt a couple times.
Yeah.
You ready to go out there, join him up there in the pearly gates and on the golden court?
You know what? I don't have a choice. Like I said, when I get the desire to not come in this gym, then it's nothing for me to do outside of this gym.
Now, I'm asking a question, Coach. Now, like I said, you've seen a lot of basketball players, good players, and some that kind of make you scratch your head. Who is that one player that you, in your coach career, that you felt that should have succeeded, but they didn't?
The one guy that come to mind, maybe the best player that I've ever seen with my eyes, and that's include, and I'm gonna say would be at the top. From the LeBron James type level, the Kobe Bryant type skill level, Ronaldo sitting had everything. He could run faster than anybody from this state. He could jump just as high as anybody in the state. He could shoot the jump shot as well as anybody. He had post-game footwork, jump hooks, turn face as well as anybody in this state. He could pass the ball as well as anybody I had seen. and he had size. He had a total package. And he was the one young man that I thought would probably make $300-400 million over his career. He was the one guy.
And I know I've seen him play a couple times. Say he was a big guy. I don't know if it's his dad or his uncle. I think it was his dad. We took a class together at Jackson State, and I can see that. Now like I said, he was a nice sized guy. No, he can do it. It wasn't left-handed.
Right.
But he can move.
Yeah.
But I said I agree with that one, Coach.
Yeah.
His I think he should have been farther along than what he had. Coach, now let's talk about this event that you got coming up Saturday.
Okay.
The Brotherhood Elite.
Okay.
Now I know everybody look at the Dandy Dozen. They take the best 12 players. Then you have your elite AAU team. What is this Brotherhood Elite team?
You know, what this is a bunch of guys from the state of Mississippi, and what we're trying to do with them, when you look at this state, and you go back and you say the Coach Billups, the Coach Rileys, the Omar Carters, when those guys were dealing with basketball, it was really, really good. And then it took a drop somewhere. And the reason why I think it took a drop is because of us. You know, we dropped the ball somewhere. And I think for us as coaches, as people who are in the game, as AAU coaches, as parents, we got to get together and put these guys back together all in one setting. When these guys got mindset that the state is down, the reason why we're bringing all of them in here set is for them to say, hey, look at my man right there. Look to your right. Hey, look to your left. Look in front of you. Look and see the talent that's on this court. We're not as far down as we think we are. So it was more for me to bring them together so they could see it. We could talk about it, but when you don't see it, you don't know. But when you can see it and you can put your hand and touch him and say, he's 6'8" just like I'm 6'8". He handled the ball just like I handled the ball. He's 7 foot. He ranked in the top 5, he'll power 5. We got that, but they have to see it. And so we wanted to bring each one of them and put them together and then invite the public out to see them, to see that we're not as far gone as you think we are. And it's up to us to get the message out there to say, hey, come and see, come and look at it, and we finna get this thing back the way it used to be.
Now, like I said, we can, every year you can go down the list and look at some outstanding players that come through from Jackson, south the coast of North Mississippi. Even we got a guy, we have a Mississippi native in Olympus right now, Devin Booker.
Right.
Who's when he got drafted, you looked at him and said, okay, well, he may have a so-so career. No, he kind of moved around to a few teams, and now he found the landing in Phoenix, in which I think he should have a championship ring, in my opinion.
Right.
He's in Olympus now. He's en route to win a gold medal.
Right.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be gold, bronze. I know he's en route to win a medal.
Exactly.
And he came through Mississippi, and I think he probably played a few games on this court where we're at right now through AAU.
Right.
So the talent is still here. Like I said,
right.
We just have to bring it together because we're going in 30 different directions right
exactly.
now and saying that the talent's here. What is it that we're going to take now? Like I said, I know that we have just not on the male side, but on the female side as well.
I think that we got to be educated because these kids don't understand. First of all, these kids don't know Justin Reed and what they wasn't born, so they don't understand the Othello Harringtons, the Justin Reeds, the Ronnie Henderson, the Jesse Page, the Maurice Carter. They weren't born when those guys played. So they got to be educated that, hey, you don't have to go to Tennessee or Louisiana to play on the team. You can do that right here. I told a guy this morning, the goals in Tennessee are the same height as those goals out there. The court in Louisiana is the same distance as the court out here. But our kids don't know that. They don't understand that. So we got to bring them and show them that, hey, you do know this goal is 10 foot high. And the goal in Tennessee is 10 foot high. The problem is in here. That's what your problem is. You have to look in your shirt and say, that's what your problem right there.
Now, why is it especially some student athletes, they feel that they have to go elsewhere to get noticed? My college coach, I love him dearly, But I know when he see me, he always gonna fuss and cuss me out. I love Coach Roberts. He always tell her, he said, if you're good enough, they'll find you. Regardless if you in Sugar Lot, Mississippi, or Mississippi, or Midnight, Mississippi,
Right.
if you're good enough, they'll find you. And like State, I tell some athletes, man, just go wherever you are. The team may not be as good as a team,
Right.
but if you stand out and do what you're supposed to do, a good scout or a good coach with no talent,
Right.
and to see talent around and say, well, this kid is, this guy's girl is really working hard, but the supporting cast is not there.
Right.
I would definitely like somebody like this person on the team because I see that they got hard work,
Right.
regardless of that the work ethic is not around. Why have some of our players sometimes they lack away from hard work?
You know, it's their mindset, and it's the people that are around them, and you babyfy them, and you give them everything. You give them tennis shoes to do this. You give them name and image. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with name and image, but when I give you $800,000 and you don't want to work, so you're not really earning the 800. But when you dangling that carrot in front of their face, and when you give them the carrot, then they eat it, then they full. But when back in the day you didn't give it to them, and so they had to keep on reaching for it, and they didn't get it. They had to keep on reaching for it. We had 3 kids within an hour radius of each other. Al Jefferson was at Prentice High School. Jackie Butler was at Macomb High School. And Travis Outlaw was at Starkville High School. They all played in the NBA, and they was all in the same graduating class. 3 kids. They never played Macomb, Mississippi, Starkville, Mississippi, and Prentice, Mississippi. Some people don't even know where those places are. 3 kids all played in the NBA and never played at a prep school. They played at their regular high school, and they were the best guys in the country.
Now, with this name, image, and likeness in this transfer portal, what's your thought about the transfer portal now? I know that even when you were coaching and when you were playing, you can transfer. You got one time to transfer.
Right.
If you went to the same level, you had to sit out. But if you went down, you had the opportunity to go ahead and play immediately. What's your thought about the transfer portal now?
You know, with the transfer portal, which I don't have a problem with it. This is why I don't have a problem with it. When a kid is being recruited, the school does not walk in the house and say, hey, I want you to come in, I'm gonna make you better. There's a coach who come in there and say that. The coach sit down and tell you that. So why is the coach, he coached for a year and he's allowed to transfer, but you gonna tell me I gotta stay there and play for that other coach that I don't really know? So when you talk about transfer portal, I get it. You know, you got different situations. Now, as a parent, if I look at it and see that same coach is there and the coach is committed and he's doing a good job, my child not transferring. I'm gonna keep him there. But now, if my coach transfer and another guy coming there that I don't know anything about, he's not a winner, he doesn't push my child, yeah, I got to transfer. So I think we need to leave the options open for the kid because the coach is allowed to transfer, so the players should obviously be allowed to transfer. But as a parent, you should be able to tell if they get a new coach, can your child play for that coach? Or just because your child is not playing, let him work his way up to play. Don't snatch him and say, okay, he's not playing this year. Okay, we're going to transfer. Yeah, then, that's a problem. But just should they be able to transfer? Yeah, if he wants to transfer, let him transfer.
Yeah, I agree with that. In reference to, like I said, the coaches can just up and leave at any time based off of they found a new job or they got terminated or something, but they got the obsolete with no penalty.
Right.
But the child, the student athlete, has issues. My thing is if they're recruiting somebody that's in the same position as you and you want to transfer because that same coach that recruited you, you're going to have to get there and earn it. You got to go out there and work for it.
That's different.
And just because you don't want to compete, I'm going to go to this other school because I feel that there's something wrong with that. So I agree with that part. What's your thought on the NIL deals?
I love it because this is the thing. Only 0.5 or 0.6% of the kids gonna make it to the NBA. 0.5 or 1%, whatever that number is. There are only 400 jobs in the NBA. Just like we just had 20 kids out there playing. All 20 played at a high level in college. Only one of those guys played professionals. One out of the 20. played professional basketball. So now, if that kid doesn't get paid in college, then he's not gonna get paid. So you gonna tell me that I'm gonna play in college and we gonna play in front of 13, 14, 15,000 people. Somebody getting the money. And you getting the money off of my ability to be able to put the ball in the basket, my ability to make a pass, my ability to get the rebound. So why shouldn't I be compensated for it? Yeah, so they should be compensated, because I'm telling you, if they don't get the money when they're in college, only 0.5 or only 0.9 or something like that will make it to the NBA.
Yeah. Now, let's go to the WNBA.
Okay.
How supportive or are you against, or are you are you in support of the expansion of the WNBA from more teams and more opportunity for women to play, as well as increasing pay?
You know what? I think the teams, should they be expanded, it depends on the talent pool. You don't want to water it down to where nobody wants to see it, and if nobody wants to see it, the player can't get paid because there's no money. The other thing is, I can't pay you $1 million and we only have 100 people coming to the game, so we only made 50,000, and you want me to give you $1 million. Where am I gonna get it from? When they start generating 700 million, 800 million, when they start generating X amount of dollars, then you can pay them more because you're generating money, whether you're getting it from outside sponsor, or whether you selling out your merchandise, but the money has to come from somewhere. If we don't have the money, then we can't pay. If we have the money, then we can pay. Like when you look at the men's side, the money is there. When you look at college football or college basketball, it's plenty of money in the Power 5. So it's money for the kid to be paid. When you look at the professional level, it's plenty of money that the professional football and basketball teams generate. So you can pay a Jaylen Brown $300 million or whatever he make, because the Boston Celtics generating $1 billion. So now, you can pay them.
Do you think that they should invest more in the WNBA, like I said, to draw more attention to it, or is it up to the players to attract more attention, or is it up to the marketing team of the WNBA to get more attention to it?
You know what? You can bring a player into the league, just like I'm gonna say, we can go out here and play, and I can say, hey, Coach Brent playing today at 5 o'clock, and nobody show up for the game. 5 people show up for the game, and then we say, hey, LeBron playing tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And everybody show up for the game and pay. That goes your answer right there. If Coach Brent can't play, we can market him all we want to. We still ain't gonna have nobody at the game. We're gonna lose money. But if LeBron James is on the floor, we can market or not market. He gonna market himself, and it gonna sell. So I don't think it's ability to market. I think what you marketing gotta be able to play. It gotta be what I want to see. If you put a special player, a generational player, and that's what they're trying to do with the girl from Iowa,
Caitlin
Clark. They're trying to put a generational player to change the league. So don't hate on it. Everybody get on it, and let's see if we can make this get paid like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson changed the entire NBA, because you had 2 guys that were must-see TV, and then the contract started, and then here comes Jordan, then boom. So now you can market Magic and Larry and Michael Jordan. You can market that, but you can't market me. So that's what you got. And
I see that's what they're trying to do with Angel Wilson with the Aces. Now I like the way she plays. She plays smooth. She hustle to be somebody her size competing against those individuals. She hustle.
Right.
Now with Angel Reese, they said that I don't know if she tagged herself that she's going to be the Dennis Rodman of the WNBA, but like I said, that's the way they're trying to market to get bad attention. I still haven't seen a Chicago Sky game yet because they don't televise it in this area. What do you think? What's your thought of Angel Reese?
You know what? I think Angel Reese can be that. And Dennis Rodman was a must. Anybody that can go out and get 30 rebounds, that dive in the crowd, and you got to be able to sell yourself. And is it crazy that he come to the game with red hair one game, green hair one game, blue? Yes, but it's a sale. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to sell to make money for himself. And it works for some people. But he's only concentrating on what he can do good, and that's rebound that basketball and defend. And he made a lot of money doing it.
Yeah. Well, Coach, I really appreciate your time and talking with me. And I know you getting set for the Brotherhood Elite. Is there anything else that you'd like to check out before we get out of here?
You know, I just want to say, everybody come out and support the guys working out. I think they'll see a high level college workout. Myself and Matt Riley have been working on it for the last month. Richard Bradley has come in and put some sponsorship into it. So I'm just excited about it. We just, like I say, just want everybody to come out and watch those guys compete against each other, and then show them guys some love that, hey, we do have basketball players in Mississippi, and we are on the rise, so those guys can feel good about ourselves. This gym should be packed on Saturday. And if we can pack this gym on Saturday and put on a good show for those kids, I think that'll be one step in the right direction for Mississippi basketball.
Yeah. Coach, again, man, I appreciate the time. The legendary Coach Brent, Callaway, Provine, Pine Woods, Old Miss, Jackson State, I love. Coach, again, I really appreciate your time, man. Let me go ahead and get out of here. Go have some fun. Much love to you guys. No, hey, like I stated, we somewhere around here, there, and everywhere. Chat with you guys later. 1 + 1 = 2.
Appreciate you.